Is this the new, or a continuity of what has always been? The World Economic Forum are broadcasting a brave new world, the merger of man and machine, superhuman abilities in a digitised modification of this lowly organic form. Although this is indeed a different projected vision of humanity than adorns our world this day, one must come to deeply question, is this anything new? We need the new. We so need the new. For centuries, we have lived dividedly by national and religious identities. For centuries, we have lived dividedly as a privileged few and the hungry millions. For centuries, we have lived under a debt-based banking system. We have lived under the confines and limitations of governments and monarchies, and powerful men who live in the shadows. We are slaves, and we are slavers. Humanity. We are the abused, and we are the abusers. We are 195 divided nationalities and over 4,200 divided religions, all at each other's throats daily, and all preaching the merits of eternal peace, all seeking to defend, and all ready for war. It breaks a man's heart to begin to waken to where life truly lies. For the first thing to be transparently seen is the deep corruption in the heart of humanity. Is all of this technological fascination a deep distraction to the fact that we are all living this day totally insanely? We compete and never cooperate. We battle at every level of our beings. We take and never give, from husband and wife, girl and boy, to nation against nation, peace-talking religion against peace-talking religion, ideology against ideology, concepts against concepts. It seems we are a species cursed, and our curse is our own daily lived lives. We divide at every level of our being. We divide outwardly: political parties, ideologies, religious beliefs, class standing, social status, wealth, heritage. On every level of our being, we are divided in our external continuing social existences. And we are divisive inwardly also. We live within opposing psychological states which bring disharmony to our lives. We lust in an inner torrent of desire as easily as we shrivel in an inner storm of suffering and fear. Did you ever wonder if the divisive activities of our psychologically confused state, post-educational human adult brain, could have anything to do with or to answer for the utter disorder in our social treatment of each other? Look at yourself. Watch your thinking. Is this truly a solid ground to stand on in life? It is what your society convinced you of when you were a child. Live in gathered memories. Memories of all. Painful memories, hurt, depressions, anxieties, desires. All thought is made out of past memories. 12 years of childhood education constantly being led into memory sets the brain on its habitual life-patterned approach. A self-interested, self-seeking, competitive, authority-worshipping, success-seeking, pleasure-driven, fearful approach to life. Your life. Not as life intended, as the elitist designers of our inherited educational system intended. We were limited in life to our area of inward memories, yet we live in an infinite universe which we have all but lost touch with. Outside of concepts, images, words, and beliefs, we have lost our ability to relate with what is real and true in life because we are forever caught inwardly in a conceptual cage, a network of moving words, images, beliefs, and ideas, judgments, prejudices, and concepts. A continuity of limited knowledge which divides one man from another and renders to the impossible the ability to meet the sacred in life. Life is sacred. Words and images and ideas and desires and hungers for more and power and authority. This is the way of the old. This has been tried an infinite countless number of times. We need find life, and life, when found, will tell us how to live. We need to exercise reason, but keep the inner chattering on a closely watched leash. Above all else, we need to understand the conflicted mind we live within today. We need to see life beyond the conditioning impact a highly questionable 12 years of juvenile education has had on our lives. We need to feel the breath of freedom kiss our faces. We need arrive at our destination. We need come to peace. And it needs to be real, and the only real time anything can happen is now. All else is only an idea, and ideas divide us all. My idea against yours. I have another great reset in mind. No one owns land. Land is gifted to all the future generations of humanity who will be born freer than we have been born this day. No more mandated medications. In fact, a return to the wisdom of the Bible in this respect and other sacred and profane authors. A return to the recognition that plants are our only required medicines. My schools would be teaching less about the merits of gay sex and transgenderism and more about the wisdom to be found in a deep questioning to life and a first-hand understanding of it. I would build a nation of seers and questioners that the future of mankind would be strong and wise and in harmony with the natural given laws of this universe. I would teach our children that death was never anything other than a part of life, and so nothing to ever be afraid of. And I would be patient, but always here and now. Where else could I be? Never an eyelid flutter towards an imaginary future, removing my complete perception from the present moment source of all creation, which is the only way to drink at the fountain of life, with the totality of one's being. I would teach our children to walk deeply into an awareness that in actuality, life and death are one movement, if one is truly alive and not living in the shadows of inner words and images in continuous flow. If a life is not lived in becoming, a life is lived in being, and being demands no continuity. An ideology that we grow by moving into a future is being continued by a great reset today, moulding life to an imagined, thought-out plan. A continuity of the structure of society which came before. We see where this is leading, those of us who have eyes to see. An enslavement of a majority of a life species to a controlling minority's wishes. This is the fatal approach of lives lived dividedly, and we human beings live and function in this now automated, school-educated, brainwashed approach of living in memory and conceptual time. We live dividedly, and we are out of sync with nature, which is to live now, complete in this moment, going nowhere, nothing to do but look, and at last find the space to see the ground, to see where we actually are. Imagine this with me, if you would. Look around at where you are right now. Look at the two worlds you live within. An external world, which is a real, infinite, living and loving and dying and beautiful universe, and an internal world, which is a conceptual movement of memories, past, future, fears and desires. How different would life be if the internal world, outwith of a usefulness of remembering, just did not exist? Would you not be freer? No internal verbalization unnecessary. No images. No going anywhere. No having been anywhere. No desires or fears, depressions or worries. And most importantly, no me. No sense of educated self. Nothing to fear. An image of death. Nothing to be hurt. The human educated sense of self is a societally programmed identity, a concept, a kind of hijacking of the memory of a child's brain as a scaffolding for a future life approach into adulthood, which is very difficult to break. An automated motion has been set in the brain during the many years of memory-based education, and it is this programmed movement which, if you are sharp, you can witness continues during the night also, dreams and continuing internal chatter. This movement drastically limits our human freedom to meet our universe and each other freely. It destroys relationship between us. The human brain wears out in time as it is always occupied, always engaged, creating its own inward prison cell, disconnecting any holistic ability to connect with life in silence through the senses. A movement of educated conceptual inner self is destroying our lives, dividing us, and has removed us from the actual source of all life and from a feeling of completion in life, only ever to be found by meeting the present moment fully awake, free from many inner distractions of words and images, desires and fears and concepts, and past and future, all representing a past no longer here or a future not yet arrived. We have sold our true lives in this present moment for a conceptual paper cutout of the real thing. We probably can yet remember, in very distant memory, a childish feeling of living freely in a magnificent world, timelessly, and of being incredibly alive. School kills this wonder. School kills a true relationship to life. Thinking, which is memory, takes the place of perception, which is connection to the true solid ground of this moment. We have been convinced to live this way by all authority figures and other adults who were themselves likewise processed into living their lives in this brainwashed inner conceptual societally constructed cage. All of us, when we were too young to question. Should we not now begin to question? And what shall the first question be? Must it not be, what is the first question?